Elon Musk has been sparring with U.S. politicians who want to raise his taxes. I'm going to share with you the latest, and I want to hear your feedback on this. Hi, I'm Andrew Henderson. This is Nomad Capitalist, where we help 7- and 8-figure entrepreneurs and investors legally go where you're treated best. Now, I don't think we've ever had a 12 or 13-figure entrepreneur like Elon Musk. We have had folks in the 9 and the 10 figures, but these people are in the crosshairs right now in countries such as the United States, not just the U.S., Canada, Australia. A lot of Germans are calling us lately. A lot of countries trying to raise taxes, and guys like Elon Musk are the big target. Because what we've told you for so long is that politicians are just trying to stay in power. I think we know that. And so putting up Jeff Bezos on the side of a bus or Elon Musk's picture, this is very provocative towards the voters who, look, in the last 25 years, you've seen massive opportunities leave Western countries and go to emerging countries. You've got capital going to Africa. You've got capital going to Asia, to Eastern Europe, to South America. You've got opportunities that are opening up. And people like myself are going, and we are hiring people in other countries. I'm not opposed to hiring in the U.S. I think that the regulatory environment is high. The litigation is very high. There's a lot of benefits to hiring overseas besides just lower costs, even though in many cases we're not paying people local wages. We're paying much more. But I would consider hiring in the U.S. At least I would consider it if they made it feasible for me, if they didn't make it very punitive for me to do so. And so all these policies that politicians have been putting in place, you have wage stagnation, you have inflation, you have all these things that are making people anxious. And what do they want to do? They just want a solution. And the easy solution the politicians feed them is, let's just tax Elon Musk. And so you may have seen this recently. I'm reading this from an article on CNBC. SpaceX and Tesla chief Elon Musk engaged in a Twitter spat with U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren on tax payment. It started on December 13th when Warren attacked Musk, who had recently been named Person of the Year by Time magazine. Now, people, at least in the general public, I think our audience may know this, people may not know that Time magazine, I think Adolf Hitler was the Person of the Year one year. This is not necessarily an honor. It is who had a significant impact. And I have said, the government, some of the very politicians that are now criticizing Elon Musk were the ones who were putting in place tax incentives and tax credits that people could use to go and buy solar, buy electric vehicles. And what did they think? They thought they were gonna do all this, and one of the biggest names in that space, the owner, the CEO, the founder, wasn't going to become pretty rich. It's my theory that in Western countries, in any country where they punish success, where they're the culture of envy, hey, it's great to be a small business owner. It's great to run a corner store. Don't run 500 corner stores. Then you're the devil. And so he was the Person of the Year for Time magazine. Elizabeth Warren tweeted, let's change the rigged tax code so the Person of the Year will actually pay taxes and stop freeloading over everyone else. I've told this story before. I watched an interview with Bill Gates, this is a couple of years ago, who said at that time he had paid something like $10 billion in taxes. He's like, you know what? I don't mind paying more taxes. Bill Gates is not a crusader for low taxes necessarily. But he said, let's acknowledge I paid $10 billion in a time when 62% of Americans in 2020 paid the big goose egg in federal income tax. And then go around, I pay my taxes. Here's a bear taxes. Yeah, Elon Musk, he's going to pay more taxes, he claims, than any American in U.S. history. Now, I don't entirely know what he's basing that off. But Elizabeth Warren, she poked the bear, said, let's make the guy actually pay some taxes, because she wants to control when he pays taxes. And even though the fact that he will, such as Bill Gates, pay $10 billion or probably much more in taxes, he says he's going to pay a record amount just this year with all these Tesla shares that he's selling. She thinks he's freeloading. Now, we've talked about what the fairest tax system would be. You know what? Tell him to send in his fair share. So a day later, Elon Musk replies. Now, this is a guy, and I'd like to get your feedback on this, by the way. Leave a comment below. Some people believe that Elon Musk is unlikable, he's crass, he pokes the bear back too much, he's ornery. Some people say it's well-deserved. I want to know which one you think it is. Leave a comment below. I certainly probably would not be poking the bear right to their face as much as he is. But I can understand the frustration, for all the talk of, oh, he's a difficult guy, he seems unlikable, he gets smeared in the press. People need to understand this is the price of fame. And anyone who's successful understands it because, as the higher you climb, the more people are gunning for you. But it's easy for everyone to say, oh, this guy's unlikable. To me, that doesn't change anything. The purpose of an allegedly free, democratic, rule of law country is it shouldn't matter. The politicians shouldn't just be playing on the fact that you're unlikable. But this is a guy who replied to, I think it was Bernie Sanders a while back, saying, I keep forgetting you're still alive. Which made me think of that Curb Your Enthusiasm where Larry texts Richard Lewis that he's sorry his parrot died, but the good news is Larry's still alive. If it were an exotic bird, like a toucan, I would care. Anyway, Elon Musk replied to Elizabeth Warren to stop projecting. He shared this thing from Fox News about her alleged Native American history. And then says, you remind me of when I was a kid and my friend's angry mom would just randomly yell at everybody for no reason. And another tweet, I was looking at this, it seemed like it was like 7 or 8 tweets all in a row, just like a rapid fire. Musk took a swipe on Warren saying, please don't call the manager on me, Senator Karen. And then the article on CNBC. This must be like CNBC International or something. In the United States, the word Karen is used as slang to refer to a middle-aged white woman who's angry and entitled. I don't know if that's politically correct or not. The spat comes in the wake of an ongoing debate over wealth tax in the United States. And as we mentioned recently, wealth tax is kind of this catch-all for taxing wealthy people. There's been proposals for unrealized capital gains tax, which is, what are your gains? There's also proposals for wealth tax where it's, hey, you have money sitting in the bank, you're going to pay us 1%, right? That's like when I go back to my high school days working in restaurants, and the waiter would have to pay out 3% of their sales to the host and to the busser and to the barman. So if you didn't tip them, they paid 3% to serve you. That's what it's going to be like with a wealth tax, and that's just one of the taxes they're talking about. They also want to have an unrealized capital gains tax to force Elon Musk to pay tax every year, which he's doing this year by selling the shares. But imagine if everyone had to sell the shares every year to pay their taxes. That wouldn't be very good for the stock market, would it? And so Senator Warren, of course, has been a vocal supporter of an annual tax targeting billions. Listen, I don't think there's any kind of tax on successful people. A number she will not give you, by the way. She has said $50 million, I think, for a wealth tax, but for some of the other taxes, no one will define what a fair share is. No one will define what the line is. She's a fan of taxing billionaires. They list a study that says that the vast majority of people believe that forcing billionaires to pay a very hefty tax is at odds with the American dream. I don't believe that. I believe that so many years of Bernie and AOC and Elizabeth Warren and in other countries, other politicians, they're creating a culture of envy. And I can tell you this. I said that part of the frustration of living in the United States, number one, not being understood as a young entrepreneur and just socially found Europe and Asia to be a better environment. But number two, the environment of being successful is, why are you successful? Why do you want to be? I don't think a lot of people think they can be successful anymore. I think people really have had the wind knocked out of their sails. I'm not saying it's a good thing or that I'm happy about that. But I am saying as a pragmatist, it is what it is, and that's why they're asking for so much of this stuff, because they don't believe they can do it. I mean, how many people spent the beginning of the pandemic watching Tiger King, while the people that I'm working with were honing their day trading skills and went from making $250 a year to $3 million a year, or their crypto portfolios, or they were spending the time sitting at home tweaking their e-commerce websites and their sales shot through the roof, or starting a new business. And so the people who believe in that, surely, I would imagine, don't want to see these taxes. But the rest of the society that's watching the Tiger King or whatever's on Netflix, I would imagine more so would like billionaires to be taxed because they don't think that they can be one. As we've always said, you roll out a new tax on billionaires, it'll eventually trickle down. Again, Elizabeth Warren's number started at $50 million. By the way, if you build a business at today's multiples, $50 million is not an incredible valuation to sell your business for. I mean, if you make I have some guys who are building businesses. They make $5 million a year. They're going to sell for $50 million. $5, $6, $7, $8, $10 million a year. That's doable to run a business that does that. I have people who invested, 100 grand in crypto and now it's worth 30 million. I mean, so the thresholds they're putting, especially in these inflationary times, are tough. I do want to know your thoughts on Elon Musk, whether it's good that he's pushing back on these politicians or not. It is bold. And I guess I respect the fact that he's willing to be bold versus the people who just kind of hide in the shadows and kind of give to different political parties. I enjoy not being involved in politics. I enjoy not having to be part of the circus. I enjoy getting to sell my assets when I want and be taxed in a very reasonable way, if at all. But Elon Musk is running a big business. He's in the U.S. And so he is no doubt poking the bear. I find it amusing. What say you? Don't stop now. We've got well over 1,000 more videos here on YouTube for you to watch and learn how to go where you're treated best. And if you want to work with Nomad Capitalist personally, go to nomadcapitalist.com/apply, learn about our unique, tried and true process, garnered over years of experience, and learn how you can become our client.